Hi everybody, this is Shelly and I'm going to do a really quick January wrap up for you, so stay tuned. If you are a subscriber and you watch this channel regularly, I'm really sorry that this video is so late. I've had problems with my camera, and this is actually the third time that I've shot this video. And so I've decided to try to use my Nikon camera just to see if that works out a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. It's a little hard for me because I can't see as I'm shooting, so it's kind of like trial and error. So we'll see how it goes. But so it's the 20th. We're 2/3 of the way through the month already, and I'm just now getting my January wrap up done. So I read 8 books in January, which wasn't a really big month, which for some reason January is never really a big month for me, and I think it's because because I'm out on Christmas break and I'm home more, I tend to read a lot more in December. So January was kind of a short month. So I'm just going to go ahead and start showing you the books that I finished in January. The first book I finished was on my Kindle, and that was Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, and I'll put a little picture up here for you in case you haven't seen it. But if you're on the BookTube community, chances are you've seen the book, if not already read it by now. And I enjoyed the book. It wasn't my favorite. It wasn't even my favorite Rainbow Rowell book. I've seen rave reviews for it, but it was kind of one of those, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite one of her books. I don't really want to talk too much about it. I did a review for it. You can hit the down bar in my down below, and my blog is there, and I did a review on my blog for that. So I gave it 4 stars, and that's pretty good, I think. So yeah, so I read that one. So after I read that one, I picked up Ruby Red by Kirsten Gier, and I enjoyed this book also. I have Sapphire Blue, but I have not read it yet. I'm going to wait until I pick up Emerald Green, and I'm getting them all in these covers, so it may be a little while before I get Emerald Green. So once I have the third one, then I'll go ahead and finish the series. But I did enjoy this one, and it's been going around BookTube a lot lately too. So if you haven't picked these up, it's young adult time travel. I enjoyed it. The next book I read was More Than This by Patrick Ness, and I also really enjoyed this book. This was my first Patrick Ness book, and it's very different. He has a really good writing style. I really enjoyed his writing. I don't really know how to describe this book. It's young adult, and it's dystopian, bordering on sci-fi, I would say. So it's kind of one of those books that's really hard to describe to someone without spoiling it, really, because it's kind of something you have to, there's like kind of almost sections of the book, where part of it you think is all dystopian, then it kind of turns sci-fi. So it was really good. And I also have his Chaos Walking trilogy, which I'm probably going to read pretty quickly. After I finished that one, I picked up Attachments by Rainbow Rowell, and I liked this one probably better than Eleanor and Park. Still not as much as I liked Fangirl, but I did like this one more than Eleanor and Park. So this one is an adult, which, yeah, it's an adult. I guess just because the people in it are adults, but it doesn't have, like, you know, detailed love scenes or anything in it like what you sometimes think of when you think of adult novels. So it's just an adult contemporary. It's a good story. If you haven't picked this up and you like Rainbow Rowell, then I recommend it. It was really good. After that, I went a little bit darker, and I picked up Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. And I had not heard about this until I started watching videos on BookTube. And I've seen it in a lot of hauls. I haven't seen very many reviews for it, or like people talking about having read it. It's probably because of what it's about. It's really hard to describe. It's something that you kind of have to read to see that it's not as bad as what you think it's going to be when you read the synopsis. The love story in this book is between siblings, and I read this right about the time that I believe it was Lifetime played the new Flowers in the Attic movie, and I've never read Flowers in the Attic, but this reminded me of the movie a tiny bit, only in the relationship part, and the fact that the older children kind of take on a caregiver role to the younger children, and so they're like, essentially in this book, they're like the two main characters are like their sibling's parent, and so they kind of take on that role, and I think that she handles the subject matter really well, and it's not off-putting at all. It's the way she writes it. She can make you feel the way they feel. I don't know how to describe it other than that. I enjoyed it. I will pick up more of her work, definitely. I know she has another book. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's about, I believe, a swimmer or something like that, which I'm going to try to get. So if you haven't read it and you have the book, then I suggest, I would read it. It's good. It may not, it's not a storyline that's for everybody, but the way she handles the subject matter, I think she just did a really good job with it. The next book after that, I kind of stayed on the dark track. One of my friends posted on Instagram that he was reading this book, so I was like, oh, I just finished a book, maybe I'll pick that one up too. And that was Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and I gave this 4 stars on Goodreads. Actually, most of my books that I read this month I gave 4 stars to, just in an attempt to be a little more critical with my reading. Instead of giving every book that I like 5 stars, I'm trying to kind of think about it a little more. So I gave this 4 stars. I know that the second book just came out, and I'll probably wait for it to come out in softcover like this one before I buy it. So I'm not in like a super hurry to read the second book, but I definitely want to know what happens next. And then this was the only book this month that I gave 5 stars to, and I've been seeing this book around for a little while now. When the ARCs started coming out, would have been probably early last year, I believe. I'm not sure. I was seeing it on the blogs because everybody was reading, kind of before I got into BookTube. It was just all book review blogs or whatever. So I kept seeing this one and I thought it looked really good. So I picked it up just recently, and it's My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And it's going around BookTube a lot right now, it seems like, and everybody loves it. And it's really good. It's a young adult contemporary love story. She does such a fantastic job with her characters. I don't know. I'm going to review this one pretty quickly, I think. But I just really enjoyed this. And I know she has another book coming out soon. I don't think it has anything to do with this one. I haven't read too much about it. It's called What I Thought Was True. But this is, as far as I know, just a standalone book. But if you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. It was really good. If you like young adult contemporary, then this, I'm pretty sure, would be something that you would enjoy. The last book I read this month was Letting Go by Maya Banks, and I got this from Maya's publicist. I've been reviewing her books for quite a while now on my blog, and so they contact me whenever she has something new coming out, and they usually get them to me really quickly, so I can get my review up for when the book comes out. So this is the first book in a new series. I'm not really sure what the Surrender trilogy is, what it's called. And this one is, if you have been watching my videos, you'll know that I didn't really care for I read one of her books last month too, and I didn't care for it. But this one is more similar to the Breathless trilogy, which is The Fever, Burn, and Rush. And it's similar in theme to those. So I gave this 3.5 stars on, well, I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads because they don't do half stars. But I said in my review that I'm probably more towards a 3.5. Now, if I had read this book a year ago, I probably would have given it 4 for sure. But I think that the theme that runs throughout some of these books is a little bit overplayed. And this is an adult romance, and her books border on erotica. And they're more like a little less intense version of 50 Shades of Grey, I guess. And that kind of theme that runs through 50 Shades of Grey and the Gideon Cross books and these books, like with the dominance and, you know, submissives or whatever. I think that, to me, that is a little overdone at this point, and this book kind of follows in with that too. Like I said, I have reviewed this on my blog. You can hit the down bar if you want to go to my blog and read the review. But I'm interested enough in it that I will continue with this series, where I won't with the last book of hers that I read. So that's the 8th book. I did 8 books. So as you can see, January was kind of a slow month, and February's turned out to be kind of that way too. I started out February with the Harry Potter readathon, and I did one video for that, and then I started having trouble with my camera, so I never did get to do an update. But I managed to read the first 3 books, and then I got about 300 pages into Goblet of Fire, and before the readathon was over. And then we got busy with school and with work, and I just finished Goblet of Fire, I believe 2 days ago maybe. And so I did manage to finish a book before I started the Harry Potter series, just a small one. And so, yeah, so February is going to be a little light too. I've got a couple of review books that I have tours for next week, so I'm working on those right now. But I don't think I'm going to keep doing TBR videos right now, just because if you watched my December TBR, or my the January TBR that I put up at the beginning of the month, then you'll notice that not very many of the books that were on that TBR actually made it into my reading pile this month, or for January. And so that's just something that happens. Like, I'll read one book and it'll be, you know, kind of dark, so I need something lighter. So it's just too hard to kind of predict what I'm going to be in the mood for. So I'm not going to do that again for a while. Until I get kind of caught up. My blog is like way behind right now. I need to get caught up on reviews. I probably have at least 15 books that need reviews done for. So I'm gonna just kind of work on that when I have a chance. But if any of these books that I showed you, if you want to see reviews for those, just leave me a comment and let me know, and I will see what I can do. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.